I am live, even though I'm getting stuff ready. I hope you guys can hear me. Um, we don't start until 6, but I just wanted to hop on and say what's up and see what's up. I want to make sure that everything is good. Everything should be good. Um, Everything should be good. It's gonna be mad weird doing uh, a video on a video, a video on a video. What up, guys? It's Marie Shadows. Welcome to the Marie on the Mic IG. First time doing this. Let you guys know that I am live on youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast to talk about everything MLW with my good buddy Dos Evo. So tune in to youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast. I'll see you in chat. What up, guys? It's Marie Shadows. Welcome to the Marie on the Mic IG. It looks so cool. Let you guys know I don't know. I am live on youtube.com/Vertical Podcast to talk about everything MLW with my good buddy Bill Eagle. So tune in to youtube.com/. I almost forgot to put the link. See you in chat. What up, guys? It's Marie Shadows. Welcome to the Marie on the Mic IG. First time doing this. Let you guys know that I am live on youtube.com/Vertical Podcast to talk about everything MLW with my good buddy Bill Eagle. So tune in to youtube.com/Vertical Podcast. I'll see you in chat. So yeah, we start at 6. Um and um I can't add, or can I add? I could just no. Um where would this go if I were to add an image? Oh. Oh. That's where it will go. That's where it will go. Um I wonder. Did it change? No, it didn't change. It didn't change on the thing. Oh. So while we wait to six and for our buddy Dos Evil, which I miss podcasting with him, but he's doing awesome things with his podcast with Mr. Thomas and then reviewing Evolve with Dr. White Chocolate. So, um, me, on the other hand, I've had some other ideas for like content and stuff like that to make different types of things. Because sometimes when you get to a certain part in your content creation career, you sort of want to pivot. Um, so, yeah, I hope that everyone can like hear me. Everyone should be able to hear me. Um, okay, yeah, so I'm good. My sound is good. Everything is good. But yeah, sometimes you just want to pivot a little bit when it comes to content creation and all that. Um, oh, really? Okay, see, this was gonna mess me up. Um, no, that's not. Okay. Oh, okay, I got it. My headphones are gonna be like really loud. Um, they're gonna be really loud. So as we wait, like I was saying that sometimes when you make a lot of content and you do it for like 6 years and counting, you tend to probably need, not want, but probably need to pivot and shift a little bit in your content, do something a little bit different. Always make sure that you're doing something different in the community space rather than it just being like, hey, let's do the same things over and over and over again. Um but it's totally like up to people and what they always want to choose. So we're going to be doing a little things differently on the Square Circle podcast going forward, meaning like different content, not necessarily, not everything is changing. I might add some like music and stuff like that. Which, by the way, has anybody seen the Our Truth putting out the country song? Because man, um, that is a really good song, and I really like it, and it was interesting. And I was just like, I didn't know, like, I knew Truth had, his music background, did his own raps, did What's Up, but I didn't know like it went anything further than like me discovering that Our Truth is on Spotify, and I like Spotify. And it's like, oh shit, he's on Spotify with all this other music that I didn't know existed. But I will let you know that the channel, the Square Circle podcast, is not really going to turn into like a music breakdown sort of a channel. I could react to music videos because Our Truth over here have been making music videos for like the majority of his music. And I was like, wow, I missed out on like all of these songs. Like, what? It doesn't really cross your mind to like look up certain things, and then just be like, oh shit, there's more to this than anything else. So there's that. Because I find it that whenever I listen to music, I have a very like picky taste in music. um so this is why, like, to me, I would always consider music to be like different tastes, um and different, and that's very like subjective, versus like wrestling and how sometimes people are more like, okay, just want to make sure that this is on, um versus professional wrestling, because even though there are some arguments that could be made that professional wrestling is subjective to people, I think that's an easy cop out to be like, um, to always use it in a bad way. And I might have to revisit this if somebody like reminds me um, about this, because I think this is a wonderful topic, but this is not about like, MLW. This is just random thoughts that I have off the top of my head about like, would we consider wrestling to be objective, or will we consider wrestling to be subjective? Where like, you can like what you like, but if you're gonna go down the route of liking what you like, you can't have the mindset of you gotta like all wrestling. And this is me trying to figure out this this conversation in my head about it, to the point of like, you know because i go by I go by the wrestling of, you gotta stick with the fundamentals. If it's not broken, don't fix it. And while everyone shouldn't really be liking everything, it should still have, excuse me, it should still have the same foundations as what you would expect if professional wrestling is on television. If professional wrestling is not on television and you're going to your local indie promotions every single month, then they have a little bit more freedom to do what they want to do with the foundation of professional wrestling. And therefore, that can definitely be the so called like subjective, because you're going to an indie show that doesn't have to follow the rules of television. But if you are basically going, not really going, but can I take out the image or no? But if you're watching professional wrestling on, okay, that's not what I want to do. But if you are watching professional wrestling on television, it should follow like a set of rules. Just because. How do I maximize, customize? We're gonna remove it for now, just because. But sometimes, yeah, that's what I like tend to think about. About like, do we consider this that? Do we consider that the other way too? Just because of like, um, it's more about like what kind of interesting conversations can we have? Hey, Denisha, what's up? Thank you for joining the stream and the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. But yeah, it's more about the lines of like, um, what kind of good conversations can we have? What kind of interesting conversations, can we have, rather than the usual of like, you gotta enjoy all wrestling. You gotta enjoy death matches. If you don't enjoy death match wrestling, then you're not a wrestling fan. You know, the crying and whining of not liking the idea of an NXT wrestler going after a TNA wrestler for that TNA belt, the Joe Henry and Trick Williams deal. Instead of having arguments with people online about, very uh, minuscule things that are way too like magnified, because it's like you got to look at the bigger picture in wrestling. Like, it's better to look at the bigger picture, and then you can sort of look at the smaller pictures. But the smaller pictures are not even that important, But the bigger pictures, like, is really important for that. Um, I do know that we will have a couple more live streams this week. I do have to create a standalone video, which would be very interesting for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy that video, because there's this project that I want to do, and I consider it like a big project. It's not even like a medium-sized project. Maybe it's a medium-sized project, but um, for now, we're going to call it a medium-sized project. Um, and so the medium-sized project, uh, we're going to do it in baby steps. I'm not rushing this project, but the first episode will be out for the project. Hopefully, like either later this week or, maybe next week. But I hope you guys enjoy that. Um, yeah, it's just, again, pivoting with different content, different ideas, different stuff. Because I necessarily do not want to have, um, you know, uh, I don't want my content to feel like everybody else's, where it's like a constant of like reviews for every single day of wrestling, um, and interviews like 24/7. Because sometimes you don't want questions to just blend all together. That's just my way of thinking about it. That, like, when it comes to questions, they should be very thoughtful and stuff. We will get into, if it's not going to be a live stream, it might be another like standalone podcast episode where it is talking about Gabe Kidd siding with the Death Riders, doing the whole abandon all hope kind of deal, and then apparently helping out the Death Riders and the Young Bucks. Okay, I thought I heard something in my headset. Helping them out on Dynamite. And then just like where do we go from here? What are we thinking? I know that, like, this weekend it's gonna be the pay-per-view, so I guess I'm gonna have to probably wait on like doing a whole assessment on it, because I don't have too much information. I don't have too much thoughts. All I know is that, like, timeline wise, this, that, everything else. Um, so look out for that. I'll talk about Suji's comments, that he said that he's not going to participate in any more New Japan Strong shows unless, like, they get more respect. And he's totally 100% right. And I have been saying this ever since, but you guys keep yelling at me. And when I say you guys, it's all of the wrestler profile pictures, the no profile pictures, the names with a bunch of numbers, accounts. Anybody who doesn't want no one to speak out against New Japan Pro Wrestling, anyone that doesn't want to have to hear the truth about, like, AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling, all the anime profile pictures, all of the young accounts that are like, I'm 19 years old, I'm 18 years old, I'm in my 20s, and I'm a 24/7 activist and all this kind of shit. Like, I have been saying this forever, that the New Japan Strong shows, if they are not going to invest in this for the New Japan Strong shows, then what is the point of having the Strong shows if they're not really going to invest in it, and it becomes a short-term cash grab because of the name and because of the location of where they're at? Why they're not going to, like, take care of it? Do you have thoughts on AW Double or Nothing and Dynamite yesterday was a bad show? Oh, you know what? I'll probably make some videos on the promo between Hangman Adam Page and Will Ospreay. Like, Hangman still can't cut a promo. I really don't have thoughts on Double or Nothing. It's gonna be Double or Nothing. That's what it is. It's gonna be Double or Nothing. But man, just seeing some of the highlights that pop up on my Twitter timeline, I'm like, what are we doing here? It's one thing to copy WWE, which I really don't like always saying that or even like bringing that up or trying to do like a comparison. Because you guys know me, I don't like doing the but WWE thing. However, there should be a different style where like it doesn't feel like it's cringe or it's high school acting when AEW puts on maybe a little segment of like a backstage thing, or a backstage interview, and then it just comes off as like a high school kind of deal because they don't have a showrunner. You know, you want to know what AEW's greatest strength was? It was the social media aspect. It was the vlogging. It was using their phones. They were the youngest. Like, if you really think about it, you could consider the AEW fan base and the wrestlers, they understood the power of social media. But, you know, Tony Khan doesn't understand the power of social media. He rather create enemies rather than using social media to his advantage. And, you know, the other people that he invited on are not helping. AJ Boom and his family with his 1.2 million followers is not helping out AEW. But I'm getting off the point. The point is that AEW, their strongest asset is social media, even though they are using it incorrectly. And maybe we should create a video talking about that and revisiting some stuff and even saying, hey, what's up to the Young Bucks? Because if you guys don't know, the Young Bucks finally blocked me. Finally. And I was not trying to be a troll. I was not trying to be rude to them. It's just that if the Young Bucks are not going to change, and we are in 2025, and they are still going to go around and pretend that people want them in the business when they haven't adapted to what's happening currently, then I'm going to speak out against it, because it does feel like you're trying to ride the coattails of former past names in this business that like gave them all of their credibility. So like New Japan Pro Wrestling, Bullet Club. Without these things, they would not really have succeeded. It wouldn't have really gone very, very far. You know, it wouldn't mean anything, like, you know. But speaking out and like constructive criticism, they really don't like that, because it is sort of feeling like, are you leeching off of Bullet Club War Dog's success that they got on their own natural merit versus like, you know, I don't know what's the opposite of that. But like, oh yeah, are they leeching off, or like, is this like a good thing? It felt more like leeching off. Because I went through the video, I talked about the video, I did a tape study series video for the Young Bucks with the Good Brothers versus Bullet Club War Dogs, and man, that was horrible. You're not spending money on Double or Nothing. They are charging $50. Yeah, like, listen, you do what you got to do, man. Like, paying $50 while there's streaming services available that you could get, you know, when we had the WWE Network, that was $9.99 a month. You know, there's Wrestle Universe for all the Japanese wrestling for like $9.99 a month. There's New Japan Pro Wrestling for $9.99 a month. There's Peacock for like $7.99 with ads, and then without ads it's like $13.99, and then, you know, you're still paying $50 for a pay-per-view that ends like at 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, what are we doing? Why are you spending that much money when you can be investing in yourself if you're a content creator, or doing something else with that? AEW is the only one that doesn't have a streaming service. And going back to the previous point of their biggest asset is that the fact that they have what do you call it? They have social media to their advantage. Like, social media for like 2019, I know like we're in two different like eras and styles and whatever you want to call it, but like, they were the best at social media because of being the elite, because of what they did on social media. They got people talking and stuff like that. So yeah. But now they still can't put their pay-per-views on their own streaming service, or make their own streaming service, or make a, you know, or in the contract tell HBO Max to be like, hey, we got to start streaming these pay-per-views on there. We can't wait. Like, this is why he's not a business person. Um, so before we actually get started, it's uh 5:46. Um, I am going to take a quick little break, make sure that everything is good. Bring some water back and all this kind of stuff. Tell your friends about this stream and let them come into chat, and we're gonna have some fun talking about MLW. So I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Um, Let me just check socials. Um, by the way, it is still raining over here in New York City. Still raining. Also, can anyone confirm to me that WrestleMania is not going to be in New Orleans next year? Did we get a confirmation on that? Because that's what I'm seeing on the Twitter timeline. Um, that uh, WrestleMania 42 is not going to be in New Orleans. I need some confirmation on that. Um, because it would have been nice if, you know, we could have did something. Well, I mean, it would be nice if I could go one day. But yeah. That's rumors for now, not confirmed yet. Rumors. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are enjoying the pre-stream, the hype stream, before we get down to talking about MLW. Click that like button. The more likes we get, it pushes it out into the YouTube atmosphere and whatnot, the algorithm. So yeah, uh, that would be great if we could get those likes up. And then, just as a reminder, we do have YouTube memberships here on the Square Circle Podcast. And we also have super chats available. So, if you're feeling generous, if you're feeling amazing and you're enjoying the stream at any time, just send some over. I also do want to talk about some of the other promos on like AEW, which basically like the trios what is it? Promo that had Mercedes Monet, Jamie Hayter, and I have no idea. I don't remember who the other third girl was, but Mercedes ends up saying that I am more than just a champion. I'm a revolution. I am the Beyonce of women's wrestling. How delusional do you have to be to say that you are the Beyonce of professional wrestling? So, for some reason, AEW fans, um, don't want to accept any truth, or just, people in general don't want to accept any truth. And I said that AEW hasn't sold out American venues since Punk left and canceled shows unable to sell tickets. So how can one name themselves the Beyonce of wrestling? Beyonce sells out every single show she's ever done ever since breaking away from Destiny's Child. Like, we know this. She even sells out arenas when she decided to switch to country, which I think that was just a publicity stunt to just switch to country. Nobody just switches to country just like that, just to revitalize their career. I mean, we saw it with like MGK. After Eminem really destroyed MGK on that, diss track Kill Shot, MGK went into a different genre, and it was like, man, he beat you so bad you went into a different genre. Um, the thing of Beyonce going into country and winning awards where like she never really had a foundation in country was probably just because Taylor Swift is now the biggest person in pop, in the pop genre. So Beyonce had to move over and go over the country and win everything and whatnot. And by the way, I know this is a little side note. I have been like scrolling like Instagram a lot. And I think that being, down south, middle America, where cowboys and countrymen and cowgirls hang out and music artists hang out, everyone looks so happy and everyone looks so friendly, and like you can be friends with them. Like, I want to go over there and experience that. But yeah, that's just my like little take on that. At least Beyonce like sells out arenas and even makes music that's not even in her own genre, just because Taylor Swift is like the biggest pop star there is. So like, once AEW starts doing that on a consistent basis, then she could say that she's the Beyonce of wrestling. But like, she hasn't even been there long enough for AEW to be like, I'm the Beyonce of wrestling. I continue to go on to say in this tweet that that's a huge tell on Mercedes' part. Guess you got to live in Delulu land to believe it when no one else does, with a little shrug. And that's $99, please. So, if you guys ever want to talk to me, it's free. But, if you send a super chat, technically that's, I'll answer your question. I don't know. I wanted to try to make a correlation between like the $99 that she charges people for no reason. Like, why are you charging $99? Nobody wants to talk to your assistant or a bot. Like, nobody wants to do that at all. But yeah, I also think that I'm becoming a fan of country music, which is mad weird to say, just because like that's not really like what I listen to, but there are some really good uh country songs out there. Which I was like, oh shit, maybe country isn't that bad. Because I mainly stay around rock, metal, maybe some rap, depending on what it is. But I'm like very picky with my music, just picky. You know, uh, just picky. And it's kind of weird that in 2025 we're having like band reunions, but that's like super fun to see band reunions and whatnot. So yeah. Okay. We are 4 minutes and counting. So like T minus four. So Dynamite apparently did 575,000 in ratings. That is, well, I mean, they're gonna spin it that it was the Eastern finals. Basically, is my stream good? I wonder if I should plug in the Ethernet cord. Um, but yeah, uh, they're gonna spin it to be like, oh, it was a basketball game that was on. Do you know how many times a basketball game, especially when it goes to the finals, was on in all the years that WWE has been around, and WWE has never dipped to like 500,000? MJF sign is part of Hurt Syndicate, and they're having a match. Oh, dude, I saw that. I saw that. Is would be stupid. Match TK making a mockery out of tag team and making the Hurt Syndicate look stupid. I don't understand why MJF needs to be a part of the Hurt Syndicate. I don't understand why MJF needs to be a part of like any kind of faction when this guy is good on his own. This is why Tony Khan like ends up wanting to copy New Japan Pro Wrestling a lot, and it's because of, you know, what New Japan does. In New Japan Pro Wrestling, you need to have friends in high places. Including your enemies sometimes can turn out to be friends. But TK ends up being like, oh, I need to have everybody in a group because that is what New Japan does. New Japan does it first. Tony Khan is like, hey, I don't know how to build anything, so let me just put everybody in a basically in a group. Like, uh and then Dustin, man, Dustin doesn't know how to like. I mean, I can't say that Dustin doesn't know how to cut a promo because he's not gonna like that. But then again, most people don't really care. But you know, how many times is 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 he gonna go the PG route of you know, screaming at MJF to be like, what do you call it? You know, to say, shut your mouth, MJF. That's all you do is talk, talk, talk. And it's like, how many times have we heard this from everybody across wrestling, from everybody that writes some type of dialogue where it's like, shut up, insert person name here, and then be like, all you do is talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. Like, what we know he does. That's the problem with like AEW wrestlers that end up cutting promos where, you know, they do a lot of telling rather than showing us. And you can show in your dialogue when you do a promo, but for the most part it's more like, hey, for the most part, it's more like, hey, let me tell you this promo and not let me show you this promo, which I think I should break down the two promos or the three promos and explain to you guys from a writer's perspective, because I have a writing degree, that it's basically show, don't tell. I am going to put the Ethernet cord in, so give me a second, guys. We should be good. That's what I said. I had my mic muted. This. Okay, we're good. Okay, good. We are good. Um, nope. Now we're just waiting for our buddy. Um, I always tell. Okay, we're good. I always tell my guests that if they're doing something ahead of time, that it's cool. Um, we'll just wait. Uh, but yeah, when you cut a promo, it's all about showing, do not tell. Every promo in AEW is more telling than it is showing. There is a way to show while you're talking in the promo, while you're, delivering your lines and stuff like that. Like WWE has this like way of doing it. But AEW wrestlers don't understand the art of a promo. They really don't. Um, what was I gonna say? Um, they rather talk at you rather than bringing you along on a story. If you ever ask, like, I don't know if like an AEW wrestler was ever asked in an interview to tell them a story, or I don't know if I would want to do this exercise, but because then if I say what the exercise is, somebody might end up taking it. Um, you know, but you want to get like if, for like interviews to get stories, right? You want to make sure that you set up um the question the same way for like promos. Promo should follow a guideline to set it up so that when you're telling a story, you're showing a story and not telling a story. If that makes sense. To me, that sounded a little confusing of how I approached it. Yeah, that sounded a little confusing. Show, don't tell. That's all I'm gonna say. Show, do not tell. When it comes to creating a promo, there is a wrestler out there, Anthony Green. I was scrolling like Instagram, and he had a short little video. I didn't watch the whole thing, but he goes into what makes a good promo a good promo. Um, you know, so crap. Um, so I think that I should also use that and asking questions and whatnot. But if you want to know how to do a good promo, you have to have a foundation. You also have to believe in what you're saying. If you're going to be apparently with that MJF promo and the Hurt Syndicate, apparently they were doing a lot of Albuquerque sucks jokes, which is like, yo, that's like overkill. I don't know how many Albuquerque sucks kind of you know things happen, but that's like overkill. Um, so you could only like insult a town, but so much. Yo, Lion, what's up? Thank you for stopping by the stream and entering chat. Um, thank you. Uh, we're just waiting for our buddy to show up so we could talk about some MLW. Mercedes is winning against Jamie Hayter on Owens Heart Cup and go against Tony Storm at All In. Yeah, that seems like the plan. That 100% seems like the plan. The other thing that I don't like what happens is that I'm not sure if this is just me looking on the outside looking in, right? Because like you guys know that I don't watch AEW. Whatever Twitter shows me, that's what I react to. And if anybody out there says that like, if I don't watch AEW, nothing I say matters or whatever, or that like I should watch AEW, or that you don't know what happens. Yeah, I do know what happens. So this might be like a predictable thing, but like once certain things and elements start getting moved in AEW, there's the cluster of people on Twitter that would automatically put comments very similar to like Denisha's comment of like, hey, we could see this a mile away. This is what's going to happen. Mercedes is winning against Hayter, and then we're going to set up. Well, they're going to set up for Tony versus Mercedes, and it's going to be very weird. But then again, I saw Mina trying to take the belt away from Tony Storm and be like, no, this is going to be mine. And I would just like to say that women, right? Women, when they get into wrestling, we got to stop putting them into these categories of, we're not, okay, we're going to call it categories for right now, but like these actions that women wrestlers do while they're on national television of like, I'm going to take the belt away from the champion. We're going to have a tussle back and forth. And then that's going to set up for the next match next week or on the pay-per-view. Why do women have to do this stupid little struggle of like, I'm going to take the belt away from her. Like, oh my God, I'm the next champ. Why do we have to why do we have to go back to being sort of like a diva in a way where like these women are talented, to have better feuds, to think logically on how a wrestler, right, goes after the champion who is woman B in the story, rather than like, let me get that belt and let's do this little tussle back and forth and let's act like we're toddlers of like, I'm not sharing this with you. We used to be best friends, but now we turned enemies. And oh my God, you got my order wrong. Like, women are so much more than what you see on like AEW. Whenever they're like, give me that belt, or they're doing like the most womanly thing ever. And if you do want a society where like, I mean, listen, no matter what, I'm going to see wrestlers as like wrestlers, but I do respect the boundaries of like women, men, titles separated. But if the women wrestlers want to have that same equal footing, because I really don't 100% agree, but I do get it. I do understand it. However, we got to stop having like the sexy girl that's going to show all of her body doing a little tussle to try to get the championship title away from the champion, just to be like, oh, we're going to book it next week because we can't tell a good story as to why one wrestler wants the belt from the other wrestler, but we have to make it look like they're two toddlers fighting over a toy or, a Barbie doll or something. Like, we got to get those stories out of wrestling. Women's wrestling has evolved so much since the days of just being eye candy, which can be very, very useful if you have a character and a good story and a good situation as to why that woman wrestler wants to be eye candy. But then again, if she's going after a male, that'll be, that's for that. But, either way, I'm trying to come up with stories off the top of my head of like, some things can stay as a trope, but don't overdo the trope. You know what I mean? We have come very, very far from women wrestlers just being valets, being, managers, and being interviewers. Even though like there's nothing wrong with any of those type of jobs in professional wrestling as a woman wrestler, but shit, do we still have to have an AEW like little tiny stupid ass tussles with the women, or like one-liners where it's like, oh, last week you looked at me wrong. How dare you do that? Or how dare you push me? Don't you know that I'm your friend? And then like next week it's like, oh, we're having a match because she pushed me. Like, what is AEW doing? And they say, well, not well, they say, and then also on Twitter, it's the AEW has the best women's roster. No, they don't. They have a caricature of what it means to be a women's wrestler that has regressed, rather than like progressed. Um, and before somebody says in the comments whether you're gonna like watch the VOD of this or or right now, um, WWE has their flaws too, but they cover up a majority of their flaws. AEW is like, these are all my flaws. You better accept it. And when you don't, you're not an AEW fan. That's exactly what the fuck they do. And then they wonder why they get 575,000 people tuning in, no matter if there was a Knicks versus Pacers game. Because even when there wasn't basketball on and there's baseball on, they have gotten 575,000 in ratings. And that's horrible. The more the ratings go down, just be like, hey, Tony Khan, you might want to get those ratings up because you might be out of a TV deal. Just saying. Why isn't Mercedes defending her TBS title but going against Tony Storm? I hope they're not taking the boat off her and Mercedes win all the freaking. Excuse me. Listen. Mercedes somehow has her hooks on Tony Khan to where she's going to get all the belts probably, man. Like, do I want that? No, because it doesn't it doesn't help. And people that are like if you're not defending all of the championship titles, why do you need to get all the championship titles? What does that really mean? You're taking opportunities away from people. You're taking opportunities away from other women that could be fighting for that championship belt. Make it historic by having amazing storytelling ability with that championship title. But no, you put it on the one girl that like can't do that. I'm just checking in with our buddy because we are talking about MLW. I hope that my internet is fine because it's giving me problems. And that's on my phone. This is where you get like unfiltered thoughts from me, Marie Shadows, where I keep it real on the Square Circle podcast. If that's not your thing, that's totally okay. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. Yeah, I think that I should definitely make some standalone content. If we don't get to do a live stream sometime this week, then look out for like standalone content. So that way I can like gather my thoughts and be like, hey, let's go over this promo, that promo. Let's do this interesting reaction content. Let's do something a little bit different. I guess I would have to see after the pay-per-view Double or Nothing to talk about everything because like, again, the whole Gabe Kidd situation, I am just disappointed in Gabe. Just disappointed because it doesn't make any sense to jump around as much as he does. And it just feels like it's a cash grab. And while people do deserve to get paid, you also need to be making stories. And you also need to be having a return on investment on themselves and their brand and what they contribute to professional wrestling. Because while professional wrestling, we can see it and chalk it up to it's an I rather than a team. It's always going to be a team effort, no matter what. But most people treat it like a carny business. Most people treat it as like, oh, I'm just getting money. They better pay me. And then they wonder why they don't go very far in their careers. And while we can say that we could celebrate what they've done, they're still going to be known as carny assholes. And it's like, it's safer and wiser um, to be at a team player, even though sometimes that could bite you in the ass. But to be a team player is better because you'll have a longevity in the business, even though, nothing is ever perfect. There are flaws, things happen, shit happens, life happens. But, to make it look so obvious, that's what I'm disappointed in. Oh, you met Gabe at the Maple Leaf Wrestling. Oh, the one that just passed. How is Gabe? How is he? Um, what did you guys chat about? Um, but yeah, I'm just disappointed because it's like, bro, you have other stories to do, you have other things to build. Um, you know, I do have to mention the whole TJP thing, saying that Bushiroad is not paying wrestlers. That's why they keep leaving and going here and going there. And I'm here like, bro, I get it that you want to bring awareness to it and it should happen that way. But like, one of these days they're going to be like, oh, he's a liability. They're going to let him go. Even though he's a freelancer, but then now he's a champion. He's a tag champion. Um, we're going to mention this anyway, but like Templario came out with the NJPW Strong Tag Team Championship. So, it's it's a weird time in wrestling. WWE over here seems like they got their shit together. That is the most logical of like the wrestling promotions. MLW is doing their thing, and I'm very, very, very proud of MLW. And AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling are like stuck on stupid. I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't get it at all. Um, I really don't get it. Um, so yeah, we're just waiting on our buddy. If you guys want to tweet out the link to get more people in here, that'd be fantastic. Um, but yeah, I might have to just like recalibrate all of my thoughts and like do these standalone videos for us. Um, if you guys don't know, I am bringing back the tape study series where basically I break down professional wrestling matches. Those are Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesday I had to, do adulting. So, we didn't do a tape study. Today, since it's Thursday, I picked today to do MLW just to review it. But we'll come back with our regularly scheduled programming of watching professional wrestling and stuff like that. It's on Substack. If you don't know about Substack, it is a wrestling newsletter that I have. It is free. marieshadows.substack.com. Right here on youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast, and then also on twitch.tv/Marie Shadows. Marie_Shadows. Sorry. Gabe was nice. I talked with him and Drilla Maloney after the show. He didn't do the heel stuff. Yeah, I bet he didn't. I would love to talk with Drilla. I would love to talk with him. Marie, it's weird that Camila and Mariah May and Dr. Britt Baker are not there in months and not on promotions for AEW, and don't think Mariah May is not there on AEW. Yeah, it's a business. It's a carny business. If you don't understand how the business works, if you don't understand how wrestlers are, because man, I can tell you that wrestlers are, well, see, I only know the wrestling world. I don't know anything about like the music world or anything else like that, but I bet it's not really different. But like, you deal with a lot of egos, you deal with a lot of different things. It's really sad that that Mariah May is not on there when everybody was talking about her. Dr. Britt Baker, at one point, we were all talking about her. And then, Camille, she appeared and then like was lost forever. Like, I don't understand that. What, you know? AEW Sickles thinks she's coming back when she's going to WWE. I'm waiting Sickles to cry when she shows up on WWE TV. Um, but then where do you put Mariah May? Um, do you put her in the program with Chelsea Green? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. This is why Chelsea Green is very, very important to WWE and the landscape because she created another little niche section that works for women who, might not end up being like a Rhea Ripley or like a Bailey or an Io Sky. Somebody with big star power in a way because you got to think about it like the men that like not every male wrestler is going to be like a world champ. That's the same thing with like the women, unfortunately. However, the good thing that we should be celebrating is that the women get TV time, the women get segments, the women get like lots of things are happening in the background whenever the interviews are happening over at WWE, and that is great. Everybody has some type of TV time, and we're all like, "Oh my god, did you see that person in the background? What is that person doing?" The same way that they were building up the fact that every time Judgment Day was going out or somebody was in the back, and somebody was in the back and like the camera will pan and you'll see like Finn Balor talking to Roxanne, and that happened what over the course of like maybe like a month-ish or like a little bit less than a month. And then finally Finn is like, "Hey guys, meet Roxanne. She's gonna be helping us out with Judgment Day while Liv is off, shooting a movie." And that was great storytelling, great timing. The thing with Chelsea Green is that she created a little pocket for women wrestlers that will get the same opportunity, will get seen, could get championship titles, could be in feuds with her. Like it works out. So I will put Mariah May with Chelsea Green and like maybe move her up if like it calls for it, but she basically like will fit with Chelsea Green. That's awesome that you met Chelsea Green, and that's awesome that you met Britt Baker as well. Um, I feel like I cannot access my messages. Um, okay, let me just make sure that it's not a thing. Um, and by the way, if I start playing some music, this stream is gonna get copyrighted, and then I can't make money off of it. Um, this shouldn't be there. Uh, it's really sad how the state of AEW has fallen. Um, so I don't even know if I want to ask this question because I don't want people to get the wrong idea. Um, but then again, this is my personal opinion. Give me a second. I heard something fall, so I had to go investigate. Um, so I am going to be talking about the comments that Suji made, and if you guys are just tuning in, Suji from New Japan Pro Wrestling is our global heavyweight champion. And he had some comments, and he said that he is not going to participate in a New Japan Strong show until he gets respect, or probably until in general the whole entire New Japan Pro Wrestling gets respect. It's kind of on brand that AEW fans and New Japan fans are quiet about this. Because they say that, oh, we love all wrestling, we love New Japan Pro Wrestling. Oh my God, you see Ishii, we love him. So there is another podcast called We Work Stiff. They are from Australia. And they had a state of a union address, which I have yet to hear, and they talk about their thoughts about Suji and probably some other comments about, New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW and not getting respect. I'm not even sure if I should listen to it and react to it, because I don't want people to get the wrong idea that, like, if I don't agree with something, I'm probably gonna be like, hey, I don't agree with this because of X, Y, and Z. Have you thought about it this way? Because if you guys don't know about my content for the last 6 years, it's been about that. It's been about, hey, have you thought about this different perspective? Have you thought about it this way? Most of it is like, I can see this, however, this, and this. But most people nowadays consider that to be like, oh my God, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to think. Like, oh my God, how dare you? You're just a hater, rather than not listening to like the full explanation. So I'm not even sure if I should end up doing that, because like I don't want drama, but at least somebody is talking about, the comment, because I don't know about any of the other New Japan people who comment on New Japan, because like I'm either no longer being followed, or like, I'm blocked or whatever, and it's like, but we have like commonalities, like what the fuck. I may end up like saying stuff a little more harsher, because that's just how it comes out. But other than that, it's sort of like, should I not? I don't like to make content to dunk on people. That's not what I do. If I need to make an example out of somebody, I mean, like, I have my little diss tracks that I have, which I've done like 3 now, probably like 4, in my back catalog, that talks about, like, when people like fuck you over, and you're like, yo, I don't fucking stand for that, but it's the internet, so we gotta do it the internet way and not like the old school way of like, getting punched in the face or something, so that way people can understand that you just don't cross the line. But I don't really make content where it's like, oh, let's clown on these people, let's clown on that person, um Oh yeah, it's my internet. Oh my God, no. Uh really, internet? Mm, really, internet. Okay. I'd rather. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. Someone in the comments tell me if I should react to what they say. I mean, I have no problem obviously reacting to like Jim Cornette segments, or there is a Jim Cornette segment I wanted to check out, which is the him reading a email by a disgruntled what is it? AEW employee that wanted to remain anonymous. Like, what? I thought that was a funny thing. That was a super funny thing. Um, okay, so this is annoying. Can I see the message now? No. Can I go back to this? Because it's doing that thing again. I hate this so much. I mean, all right, let me quickly restart my phone and then I would see what I can do. It's always something. Like if you guys are not streamers, like this is one of the uh, always. It's always one of the things. Um okay. I'll wait for that. Um I'll be right back. See what's up. Can I get still can't get it, huh? So I think Twitter is fucking up for everybody. So this is what I will do. Uh, just in case if he couldn't get the thing. Um because it's not even refreshing. If you guys are still here at the stream, thank you. Let me know if Twitter is fucking up for you guys too, man, because it's always something. Always something. I should say Twitter on mobile phone, not necessarily you know, not necessarily website the website. And if anybody wants to buy me food, you guys can buy me food. The link is in the chat. Okay. Yeah, it's 575,000 in ratings, which is, like I said, it's pretty bad. That's why I was making those comments about like Mercedes Monet saying that she's the Beyonce of wrestling, when it's like you guys can't even sell out. You guys can't even get a million and maintain a million. Um, I couldn't even get his phone number. Probably I shouldn't have said that on stream, but oh well. Content creators doing content creator things. Um, I hope he sees it. Because I can't even access my damn messages. Great. And now we wait. Um, now we wait. Ew. What's Discord doing? NXT beat them again. Dynamite won time against NXT sickos were celebrating it. Yeah, yeah. Like, they're always gonna do that. They're always gonna celebrate it. Uh damn. Okay, so what is this? Hold on. I don't think he saw the email. Because Twitter is acting up. Oh my god. Um Restream. Um, this this is horrible right now. See, I'm not the only one that's having internet problems on Twitter. Yeah, I'm not the only one that's having internet problems. So I don't even know if I were to be like, "Hey, check your email or something." Um, if anybody wants to hit up Dose Evil, usually when there's an interference on Twitter, uh, some shit is happening. There's like an attack on Twitter. Let me just see. Can I make this into theater mode and will it play it? All right, so that way we won't be bored and there's no dead space. We'll hear this. I have no idea what this is in response to.
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest with you.
Oh.
I think deep down we know WWE is a machine, it's an animal. They're in giant stadiums and they're doing so good. But a lot of people look at us and just say we're doing it wrong because WWE are doing this. Though there's different ways of doing it. I got into WWE when I was a kid, but when I became a teenager, I just thought it was lame. There were certain guys I enjoyed, like Eddie Guerrero or Edge or Randy Orton. So every now and again, so he's saying, I'm bored, it's the same stuff, it's recycled, it's over and over again, and every now and again you get something cool like the CM Punk Pipe Bomb promo. Every now and again you get something like, whoa, that was sick. And WWE are on fire now, but I still, not only just a viewer, but as a wrestler, I just don't enjoy it. So you were saying beforehand, well, every wrestler's limited. You are, Bruno Sammartino was, Ric Flair was, etc. And Will Ospreay is saying, things are being recycled, etc. But weren't we saying a few months ago, or you were saying a few months ago, when we were watching a Ricochet match, hey, there's that thing they did last time.
Yeah, they're recycling the thing. People want to see them do the thing, and that's it. Yeah, I mean, everything in wrestling's recycled. Well,
we always want them to do the thing. Do the thing.
Everything is rehashed from 1980s Memphis, 1970s. It's some stuff from the Attitude Era. It's all there's nothing super original about the format of professional wrestling. Good guy versus bad guy, title on the line, personal issue if they're a good guy and bad guy. There's not many ways to go. The players change, the production changes, the look changes. Maybe some of the little things are tweaked for modern wrestling as opposed to the good old days. But essentially, everything's recycled. If you look at the spots, aren't the spots recycled? You want to talk about recycled? Didn't, who was it? That was an FTR Bald and another guy literally did every spot from the Brett match with Austin or somebody. Remember they recreated the match. Was it Punk and FTR Bald?
Probably.
They did every spot from the exact match and recycled that match. And talked about it. Yeah, we watched that match and we took so you exposed the business and you recycled something that was probably one of the greatest matches ever, but you recycled it.
And was it as good? No. It's not the same. It's just recycled.
But it was everything in pro wrestling is recycled, rehashed. Even the characters, all right, the people they hired from WWE, what do? They take their character and they put a different little twist on it, but it's still the same character recycled. Aleister Black was Malachi Black, the House of Black. Punk was Punk still. You could say that's recycled because it's the same. You're going to cut a same pipe bomb promo you did back in WWE. He's not wrong, but the reasons to not enjoy wrestling, then you should not enjoy anything in wrestling because nothing is original.
Which is true.
This is the most quoted paragraph here. Of course, I respect WWE. Will Ospreay continues. And I admire everyone there. And a lot of people think I hate Triple H. I really don't. I've never met the guy before in my life. But for me, there's always this little bit of rivalry where I'll just be like, yeah, you guys are the biggest. Yeah, you guys are drawing bigger houses. Yeah, you guys got the bigger deals. But at the moment the bell rings, I think we're better than all of them. I think, honestly, on our worst day, or my worst day, I'm better than a lot of guys in ring, comparing himself to WWE guys. In ring. Promos, you got a bunch of guys. Punk's great. Roman Reigns. I don't know why I mentioned Roman Reigns is one of the best promos, but whatever. There's still things that I need to catch up on, but in ring, I generally don't think there's anyone from that side, WWE, that matches any of our guys, AEW.
Well, what I'll say is that obviously he's being a good soldier, much like that Edge thing where he defended the Spike bat with Moxley. Was that the segment we were talking about? You have to be a company guy. You got to be a team player. You got to stick up for your team. I get that. But then again, you're better in the ring. You can do more moves. You're incredibly athletic. And that's a term that's used way too much to kind of denote somebody as being over. And it's not. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of athletic people in pro wrestling that never got over because they were very one-dimensional. And guess what they did? They recycled the same spots and same moves and did the same matches. So there. And I'm not accusing Will Ospreay of doing that. But then again, he's just playing a company guy. But guess what? Once again, better in the ring doesn't mean that you're drawing more money. Yep. Didn't Punk say, like if all you care about are star ratings, then that's why the building's only a third full, and that's why the other people are drawing money. We're in different businesses.
Yep.
The work rate means a lot. But it doesn't mean that you're going to draw money, and it doesn't mean you're going to sell tickets or get people to care about you.
That's exactly what I said when I did my workhorse video that was talking about, we had that conversation on Twitter with the IWC about like why people are like, oh my God, Jon Moxley is the best. Jon Moxley is having all these, matches and he's better than Seth Rollins and whatnot. And it's like, he's a better member of the Shield. And when he first got released and went out to the Indies and had all these matches, okay, any wrestler can have all those matches. Are you remembering all of those matches? The internet wrestling community loves to yell at me whenever I'm like, hey, are you remembering those matches of, that he did before signing to AEW? Are you remembering those matches? Are you talking about those matches? Are you revisiting those matches? And are you trying to make different types of content with those matches? Even if you're not a content creator, but you really enjoy Jon Moxley's work, are you trying to do different multimedia stuff to remind people that Jon Moxley did this whole entire tour about getting all these matches, but they were just matches. They don't connect. Versus like Seth Rollins on this journey of him being the workhorse of WWE that can sell the merchandise, sell the tickets, get people to care. Get people to sing his song now, Nobody's singing Jon Moxley's theme song or even trying to like put a melody to it and whatnot. So like I made that workhorse video to basically say that Seth Rollins is the better member of the Shield and that Seth Rollins is better than Jon Moxley. And that's the same thing here in this video that we're watching that, Will Ospreay needs to understand and other UK wrestlers need to understand that you got to learn how to sell tickets. You got to learn how to connect with the audience. You got to learn that it can't just be always spot and get your shit in and don't let the other opponent shine and let them shine for like 2 seconds until you're like, oh, I can recover now. My stamina is great. And you go into the next sequence of a hard-hitting move And it's like, hello, your opponent needs to shine too, like, you know, what are you doing? This is why I say that AEW is all about it's all about what, the individual can do rather than the teamwork that can happen with everybody. Once you have the teamwork, teamwork makes the dream work. Um, but yeah, like Stevie is not wrong here. Stevie is doing a great job breaking this down. Osprey, on the other hand, as much as like he wears his heart on his sleeve and he believes in what he says, the manner of which he says it, and for all the interviewers that keep asking him questions about WWE, please stop doing that because it's really unfair. Because then we get into this tribal war of like, oh my god, how could Osprey say this, or Osprey doesn't know this, and Osprey is running from the grind, and we're still gonna have like people memeing the shit out of what Will Osprey does and says, and trying to catch him in like gotcha moments or whatever, or be like, hey, do you remember this time that you said this, but this is how you really acted? You're being a hypocrite and blah, blah, blah. And to like stop all that, stop asking Osprey about WWE questions. Ask him questions about, what goes into his mindset when performing certain moves. Because obviously he put on some weight. What can he not perform anymore? Ask him insightful questions of like, do you think that yoga and stretching really does help before a match? How long are you stretching before you feel like you can, have a perfect match? Was there ever a time that he ever got what do you call it, nervous to do a move, but he did it anyway, and like it almost, fell apart? Ask him stuff that's not WWE related. Ask him stuff about like, what is his mental breakdown of like the way that he creates stories or try to create stories, or, ask him about his New Japan days, you know, ask him about the Commonwealth Kingpin, because that was a damn good character. If you ever wanted to know, Will Ospreay is able to create a character. Will Ospreay is able to be a wrestler other than like the wrestling parts. He's able to have a gimmick. That Kingpin, that Commonwealth Kingpin character was really a great character. And it kind of bothers me that we don't see that. We don't see those elements of that in this Will Ospreay. And this Will Ospreay, he's going balls to the wall. He's going from 0 to 100. Like, he's not giving a shit about the legacy of Will Ospreay. He's giving a shit about what David Metzler is going to give him on the next Star review. And that's a really bad way to go. That's a bad journey to go. Like I said, the Commonwealth Kingpin of Will Ospreay is very well. It was good. It was well done in some aspects, but it was good. It was needed. It was in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but these interviewers don't know shit about New Japan stuff. So if you guys, I don't know if I would ever interview Will Ospreay. I would love to. Well, at one point I wanted to, but who knows? But I would ask him a lot more questions to be like, hey, let's talk about your wrestling. Let's talk about insightful stuff. Let's talk about that Commonwealth Kingpin. Let's talk about like, what kind of things that New Japan needed to change. Did you pitch in like telling them not to do the dog pound cage match? Like, what was the conversation about that when they were like, yeah, we're gonna have a cage match? And you guys are probably like, okay, it's gonna be like standard chain link fence, what we're all used to. And they're like, no, it's gonna have iron bars because we're New Japan. We don't believe in props. Like, was he scared going into that? But I don't know. You guys let me know down in the comments if I should reach out to Will Ospreay and get an interview and actually ask him non-WWE questions. So that way we don't have this tribalistic war of like his whole entire answer about saying that when the bell rings that the AEW wrestlers, including himself, are better than the WWE wrestlers on any given day, which is like no, because because there goes a lot more into just being a wrestler. Also, the other thing too is that um, the other concept too is that aside from that, this guy was almost near tears. When I say this guy, I mean Will Ospreay. Um, this guy, Will Ospreay, was almost damn near in tears because he thought that he was going to have he was going to have to end his career because of his shoulder and his shoulder bothering him. Do you guys remember this? That it was about his shoulder, and it was basically like uh very near and dear to his heart. And now all of a sudden he's still going from 0 to 100 on all of this, and it's like, what happened to what happened to feeling scared about your shoulder? um Sometimes you got to pivot into sometimes you got to pivot into your career and into your move set, so that way you don't have an early like, oh my god, I might have to retire situation. um I might have to make a decision because I can't access my my stuff. Great. Let's finish this up.
Unfortunately, Ricochet and Will Ospreay, there's no part of that spot outside of standing there in the fighting stance that I can do. But I could tell you this, there's memorable moments that Steven Richards more than Stevie, but there's memorable moments that people remember. There's characters that people remember. That's what makes the business special. Sure, we've recycled stuff in ECW, but we put our own little spin and unique kind of look, presentation, and characters to it. I like Will, and I talked about it before. When he did that, I think he did a video in his car talking about, I need to alter my style because my body's starting to hurt and I really need a long career. I think I'm paraphrasing it.
Didn't I just talk about that? I just mentioned that, where he was like talking about his shoulder because the last thing that happened in New Japan Pro Wrestling was like another made in Japan by Shingo, and then that's when he had to relinquish the title. And he was like, "Yeah, my doctor was telling me about my shoulder, and I have to fix it and change my style, and it could be retirement. Like, I don't know, guys." Wasn't I just saying this?
I want to see Will Ospreay become a character. I haven't seen that. And maybe, Will, you in your sleep, you could probably do better than 90% of the people in the business. You can outshine anybody. But my challenge to you is, what's going to make Will Ospreay memorable? What moment did Will Ospreay create outside of the thing?
Mm-hmm.
You have time to do so. I'm not saying you'll never do it, but look at that. What did Will Ospreay say or do in a wrestling environment or on a wrestling show or pay-per-view that makes me say, oh my God, Will Ospreay. If Will Ospreay cut a pipe bomb promo about Triple H and WWE, that would be pretty memorable, although everybody does it this day. But I'm saying, if there's anything Will can do to make him stand out as a character who could also outperform everybody in the ring, dude, you got something there. So I don't begrudge him for doing it. I'm sure Tony Khan thinks it's great, but I also think it misses the point that, of course, it's recycled because everything is. Now,
That's exactly that. Exactly right. Okay. So it's already 7. I'm gonna take a mini break. I'm gonna see what I can do. Twitter is definitely messing up. I cannot access my messages. I think it's messing up for everybody. And obviously emails have not been looked at. So we will see what happens. I will make a decision. Um, and I will be right back. Okay, so I honestly do not know what to do. I have no idea who's still with me in chat. Who's still with me in chat? We might have to call this one early. Maybe, maybe not. I have no idea. Um, we might have to call this one early and redo this one and postpone. Well, not really postpone. Well, postpone it, yeah. Um, Twitter is also down on the website. Um, the app is acting up. Can't access messages, and emails are not being looked at. Um, it's hard to know like what's new on the Twitter timeline, what's not new on the Twitter timeline. We were supposed to have Those Evil with me um, review MLW Azteca Lucha. Was probably still going to do it anyway, but I think we should probably do it as a recording and not a live stream until like everything is good and set where we can like be like, hey, but after this and once Twitter gets back to normal, I'll be able to have an easier communication um, for this. Uh, so we might have to call it, which I feel bad because I like to, but sometimes the internet and everything just doesn't work. Um, and sometimes you got to learn to like roll with the punches and like it is what it is. Uh, can't even access any messages at all for like any new stuff. Um, I think the internet as a whole is messed up. Um, no, that's not. Okay. Yeah, even the timeline on my Twitter is off and all over the place. It doesn't make any sense. Um, it's, um, yep. Timeline is all out of whack. Okay. Um Hold on. I feel like really bad. I don't want to do an MLW review by myself. Um because this is mine and Dos Evil stayed. And I did email him to be like, hey, I can't access, Twitter. Twitter is messing up for everybody. Can access the messages. So I basically emailed him. I guess he hasn't seen it yet. Uh, and I don't know any other way to contact him other than what he said in the message. Hopefully tomorrow, when Twitter is good and whatnot, um, I'll be able to text him. Um, Hopefully. Uh, all right, so I have no idea. I just feel very bad that I had to end the stream early. Um, so wait, I'm able to get. Hold on, but I still can't get messages. I was able to get notifications, but I wasn't able to get messages. Oh my god. Okay, we are going to postpone this. I am sorry. I also have to cook dinner in the process too. That's why sometimes, like, if you guys see the buy me food link, just be a very genuine kind of thing to do. But I do have to go cook dinner. Um, but I do feel bad that I have to like end the stream early. We didn't really talk about MLW. We'll do it again. I'll try not to like beat myself up about it because I'm always like I'll keep my word for stuff and like do the things that I planned for the content that I do, but it's okay. Shit happens. Internet happens. Twitter happens where I can get notifications, but I can't access my um, messages to see the message and have us talk about MLW. But it's not the end of the world. It's not really not. Um, Stay tuned for socials to know when it's gonna drop. It won't be live. It will just be a regular recording, and I'll put it up. And then like I said earlier in the beginning of the stream, that I'll have standalone videos. After Double or Nothing, I will definitely have a video talking about like Gabe Kidd and New Japan Pro Wrestling, AEW. I'll try to fit in standalone videos of breaking down promos and be like, you got to show and not tell. And there's a way to do that when you are doing promos. And then the one reaction, the one reaction video for my mini project that I want to do. Yeah, so let me go and cook dinner. I apologize that I was like, hey guys, let's talk about MLW. like I said, shit happens, incident happens. Um, I just don't have another way to contact him. So maybe we could just do it another time. All right. I don't want it to sound like sappy and like going over and over and over, but I really do care about giving you guys an entertainment value for my work, for my content. So sometimes it like hurts where it's like fuck. I'll see you guys on the next one. And I hope that you guys, I don't know, come through, show me love. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me for like 2 hours and 5 minutes trying to figure this out, trying to be like, hey, um, let's see. Because I always appreciate having Dos Evil and talking about wrestling with him. But yeah, I think I should end the stream because if not, I'm gonna keep talking around in circles. But I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay tuned to all my socials. YouTube.com/Square Circle Podcast, MarieShadows.substack.com, Twitch.tv/Marie_Shadows. And yeah, anything else would be down in the description below. But again, thank you guys so much for just hanging out with me for a bit. I'll see you next time.